Welcome to Reckless Paradise, everyone. I am your host, Marissa, and I'm here with my co-host, Dystro. Say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Well, happy April, everybody. As y'all know, last episode, I was still recovering from being sick. I am pretty much back up to par now, as you guys can tell. My voice is a lot better now. So I'm feeling a lot better. So right off the bat, April is off to a good start. Um, Somewhat. I'm not going to go into detail, but yesterday was terrible.
Mm, yeah,
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
You're always like such a laid back person on this show, and meanwhile, I'm like the spontaneous, hyper, severe issues person.
I mean, I'm just one of the laid back, like chill kind of guys.
you're
Sort of.
just, you're the bear from the Big Blue House.
Yeah, but then I sing happy, happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
birthday.
birthday, which you'll be singing to me in like 2 months from tomorrow.
Yes. But I just try to be like just laid back and chill because it's like it's time to
Bro's,
unwind.
bro's the Orange Cassidy of the show.
Minus minus the denim jacket, jeans, and Converse sneakers probably, and shades.
I mean, we could make that happen.
Don't
Okay.
tempt me with a good time.
Oh my god. Anyways, happy April, everybody. I hope everybody kicked off the month on a good note. I have high hopes for this month. I've been saying that for the last 3 months now, but I have hopes this month because I am feeling a lot better mentally and physically. So I'm ready. I'm ready to bust April's door down and just get going. Thank you guys for joining. We hope you enjoyed tonight. So, we're running back an album from 1999, and this just so happens to be one of my top 10 favorite albums of all time. This is Def Leppard's comeback album, Euphoria. Now, two things. You may be wondering why I'm calling it a comeback album. A lot of people call this a comeback album because of their previous album, Slang, which came out, I think it was like 95, 96.
Mhm.
Um, that album flopped and on the charts. A lot of Def Leppard fans were kind of turned away because they kind of tried a new sound with the grunge sound. So a lot of hardcore Def Leppard fans were turned away with that album. This album is kind of what drew them back. Some of them, I should say. Some people are stubborn. Um,
Which, I
I
mean,
mean, it's not
it's
uncommon.
yeah, it's not common anymore. To be honest with you.
So this is kind of why Euphoria is considered the comeback album for Def Leppard. It is so freaking good. It kind of goes back to the roots, but it also has that late 90s sound to it, if you kind of understand what I mean. If you were to take 3 albums from 1999 and listen to them, I'm going to take these three for example. Euphoria from Def Leppard. There is Nothing Left to Lose from the Foo Fighters. And Enema of the State by Blink. If you were to take all three of those albums, they all sound like they're from the late 90s. You can just kind of tell without even knowing. Like, I don't know if it's just me that has that weird sense, but I feel like a true music lover could just kind of tell which year this album, or songs, I should say, is from. So, I really enjoyed this album. This is probably my most listened to Def Leppard album ever since we did the pilgrimage last year in the spring. Me and Dystro just went back and listened to it 2 nights ago. Again, this was Dystro's second time listening to it with me, whereas this was like probably my 12th,
10.
13th, 10th. I don't even know anymore how many times I've listened to this album. I've listened to it a lot. It's really good. It just has like it's like one of those feel good albums. It's just like, oh, Def Leppard's back. Like, yes, we can rejoice. So, this is a bit of a longer album in terms of tracks. We usually would not go and do 13 tracks all in one episode, but we are doing it. Usually, I would try to split it in half, but we're going to just go ahead and do all 13 here, right now. So, for those of you who may be new to the breakdown episodes, what we do is we take an album, we break it down track by track from start to finish. We talk about how we felt listening to each track, what we thought about each track, if we found any meanings behind each track, or how it was composed for that matter, if we can't find anything. And then we rank each song on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being really shitty, 10 being amazing. I'd totally listen to it again. So let's jump into this head first, starting at track number 1 with Demolition Man. Man, that song is a kick-ass opener.
I would say so. Yes. Uh, it's actually funny because like when I was trying to look up the song meaning for it, um, it pulled up like Demolition Man from like early '90s, like '95 and stuff with Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes on it. Like, no, I don't want that. I want the song. But then there was another thing that I saw too, like from like another band that had the exact same title name for Demolition Man. But if you can think about it, it kind of was influenced by Pour Some Sugar on Me, if you think about it.
I can see that, honestly.
And and I'm like, okay, so but it's like, it's late '90s, so it's like what, like uh,
Well,
that's Hysteria, so that's '87.
yeah, so about 12 years later.
So it's like, that long stretch of time. I bet you this was like in their like archives, like in their vault for like a long time, but they just didn't like
They didn't
write
do
any
anything
lyrics.
with it until like
Yeah,
1999 area.
yeah,
When I think of
that's
this
what I
song,
think.
I think of like a kick-ass opener. It really gets you hyped up. Like the main chorus is really fast. It's like super fast paced. And that's like kind of like a hype up song, in my opinion. Like it just gets you really hyped for this album. It's like, okay, Def Leppard is totally back. Let's see what the rest of the album has to offer. Um,
Hmm.
so did you find a meaning for that one?
No, it was just that's why I just wrote down. It's influenced by a line from "Pour Some Sugar on Me." That's why I just found for it.
Okay.
I didn't find like an actual meaning,
Right.
but it's like,
That happens, you know. We've had albums where we had a hard time finding meanings. I think one of them in particular was Blow Up Your Video from
yeah,
AC/DC.
that
That's
was,
like the one I really remember. That was hard to find meanings for because that album was just not popular,
yeah.
which is a shame.
Um, yeah, true. I mean, it's got Heat Seeker on it. I mean, come
I
on.
mean, come on, you got me on it. If y'all don't get it, I'm Heat Seeker on Discord.
uh, what would you give the rating
I'm
for?
giving it a 10 out of 10 because it's a really good opener. It's probably one of my more memorable openers when I think about a good album opener for an album. I'm giving it a 10. It's just a really good hype up song.
Hmm. I gave it a 9.5.
Okay, that's good.
Um, I'm probably gonna say this a lot on the show. It's like
You
I just
don't
don't
hear it a
hear it
lot.
a lot. So yeah,
Yeah. And
you're
hey,
gonna hear
that's
that.
good.
You're gonna hear that through all these breakdown episodes, folks. So just bear with me on
But what's
that.
nice is we've listened to this twice, and the recent time being about 2 days ago. So it's still kind of fresh in our heads at this
Hmm.
point.
Yeah.
So carrying on to track number 2, this is one of the singles from the album, and this is actually a song I kind of grew up with. It's titled Promises. There is a music video for this one. I really like it. It's really colorful. Unfortunately, though, Joe did not look good. I do not. I absolutely hate the way the band looked for the Euphoria album. I did not like it. Joe had his hair really short. Like, oh my, they looked like Duran Duran.
I mean, it's the '90s,
Do
so
you remember me telling you that too? Like, I showed you a couple pictures from the 1999 era of Def Leppard. I'm like, they look like fucking Duran Duran.
yeah, they did.
Oh my god. But I absolutely love Promises. That's actually one of my dad's favorite Def Leppard songs of all time. I remember hearing it in the car when I was a kid. Actually, it might have been my dad's old hot rod he had. I think he had this song on a cassette tape, if I'm correct. I'm trying to go back to my childhood here. I do remember this song very heavily played in my childhood.
Which is good.
It is. It is good.
It's very nostalgic for you then.
So, did you find a meaning for this one? I mean, if you kind of look at the lyrics of this one, it's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah, so it's like the explanation and example of like ultimate loyalty and honesty. Kind of like keep it a promise sort of thing. if you look at it that way.
So pretty much self-explanatory.
Yeah, it's very, very, very much self-explanatory. Like I
I,
wish I think some of these songs are gonna be very, very self-explanatory when you like just look at the one title of the song. Uh, like for example, like two songs later when we get to it, but it's like I think the overall song promises it's not somber, but it kind of like it's
kind of like a little love song,
yeah, kind of
like a
yeah. If you
cheesy
think
little
about it,
love song. Because I remember there's like a line in the song, and it's like about chemistry, and I'm like, this is cheesy. This is very cheesy. But
well,
it's
mhm.
1999. It's a new era of Def Leppard, so gotta go along with it. I'm giving it a 10. It's a good song.
I gave it a I gave it an 8.5,
Okay.
but that's just because I don't hear it a lot.
That's odd too to think about. Like
Well,
I'm just trying to think. It's like that's odd because it's like I said, it's one of their singles. That's odd.
it's like you said, this is my second time hearing this. This is like your 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, maybe 14th time hearing this. So it's still ingrained in your brain a little bit more than mine.
Right.
But with me, it's like I have all these different bands that I want to listen to, but it's like I just don't have the time to like listen to Def Leppard a lot, you know?
Whereas me,
You have that
it's
twenty
never
4/7.
ending. It's never ending here.
Yeah, and you
I
have
say that.
You
I was
have
gonna
Joe on your
say,
wall looking at
yeah,
you.
I'm looking at my poster right now that I've had for like 10 plus years. I mean, I'm one of the biggest Def Leppard fans you'll find anywhere. Carrying on to track number 3 with Back in Your Face. This one's kind of different. The startup, it's like, hey, boom, 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 hey, and it's like when I first heard that part, I'm like, huh? Like, what is this? And then you kind of get into the rest of the song. It's kind of cool. They kind of play around with it a little bit. It has kind of
Very
like a hip hop little vibe to it.
kind of very experimental, if you think
Yeah.
about it.
Now, with this song, it's kind of, for me, it's just like Def Leppard saying, we're back. We're back with our old sound with a little twist to it. Nothing too serious. It's like kind of like that kind of song for me. That's what I get from it.
Well, what I found was like it says it speaks of where the mind goes at the most desperate and desolate of times, but it's like I think your explanation is way better than mine because that's what I found from song meanings.
Right.
But like okay, so Demolition Man Promises and I think Back in Your Face was like the three songs, well, some of them that had like zero meanings to them,
Hmm.
but I had to like dig deep and stuff and like on the interwebs and all that stuff.
Gonna be one of these albums where we really gotta dig deep.
But like the next two songs I found like a whole bunch of fucking meanings for and I'm like, okay, well that's different. So
That's good. I'm gonna give this
yeah.
one a 9 because it's good, but it's not over the top good like the first two tracks that we talked about.
Right,
I have to be fair with this. I have to be honest with myself on these.
right. I gave it an 8.
Okay. That's respectable. Like I said, we've only listened to this a couple times. So again, that's being nice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, track number 4, another single from this album titled Goodbye. This one too is like really, really good. It's really mellow. This one's kind of more of a stripped down classic Def Leppard ballad. Now, if you think of a ballad, a lot of Def Leppard fans think, oh, like Love Bites or Have You Ever Needed Someone So Bad? Well, this is another one you should probably take into consideration if you want to talk Def Leppard ballads. This one's really good. And there is a music video for this. And I think we've watched it before on MTV Night.
I think we have, yes. Um so the meaning I found for this one, this came from Joe Elliott himself.
Ooh, okay, okay. Let me hear it. Listen,
So
my love for that guy, like, I still love him to death. Like almost a year outside of this fucking pilgrimage we did, I still love him.
So this is what Joe had to say. It's not about saying goodbye. It's more about you don't have to say goodbye. In other words, whether you've lost someone you love physically, or whether you just split from them, or they've died, or you've parted company with them in whatever way, they're always there if you need them to be. That's what Joe had to say about this song.
Goddamn, Joe's trying to make us sad now.
And it's kind of funny, like now, like because when you think about it, it's like it's very kind of self-explanatory in its own way.
Yeah.
It's it's like not really saying goodbye, but it's like it has more of a meaning to it.
In a
And
way, I'm kind
uh,
of wishing we ended the pilgrimage on this album.
it
In
would
my
have been
opinion.
bittersweet.
It would have been so fucking bittersweet, dude. I would have been crying even more than I did with fucking Jurassic Symphonies.
I did say this during the re-listening to it. I was like, some of these songs are gonna be very euphoric if you think about it.
That's the whole
It
point.
and yeah, that I know that is the whole point. But it's like that's no pun intended there. But it's like it is their comeback album, and it is a good comeback album to do. The next one, but we'll get to that probably eventually. Maybe not,
Oh
but
yeah, we're gonna do that one.
uh, I gave it a 10 out of 10.
Me too. And I'm so fucking happy. I love that song. Um, yeah, this really makes me wish we did end on this album because we would have ended on a bit of a higher bittersweet note, especially with that song. It's like we're kind of saying goodbye to a pilgrimage that I really got attached to. And I literally cried over.
Mhm,
You
mhm,
know, music's special when it makes you cry.
mhm.
Um, I'm kind of wishing we could just redo it all over again.
You
Maybe someday, but not
can't.
now. All right, moving on to track number 5 with All Night. This one definitely caught my attention. This one's a little different from what we're used to with Def Leppard. Like you said, this is kind of another experimental album, a little bit, especially with this song. Has more of like a poppy sound to it,
Right.
and well, it's motivated our topic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Def Leppard.
Hey, at least it's not fucking Angus or Malcolm writing the lyrics.
Like Ball Breaker.
Yeah, like Ball Breaker, of course.
By the way, y'all should go watch that video.
Yes, we do really appreciate that.
Yes. So, what did you find for All Night?
No joke. I completely skipped All Night. I don't know why, for whatever reason. I don't know why. I completely skipped over that.
I'm kind of fucking like, are you sure you so-called completely skipped it on
No,
accident?
no joke. This was like not intentional. I wrote down like everything. I was like, okay. I was like, let me make sure like I didn't miss anything. And then I don't have that on my list at all.
I know the meaning for this one anyways because when we first heard it, I was curious as fuck. Basically, long story short, it's about
Radar topic.
doing the do, not the Mountain Dew, doing the do
All night.
all night. Like that's pretty much what the song is about. It's pretty self-explanatory. Go listen to it. Go read the lyrics. This one I didn't like at first, honestly. It took me multiple listens to really get into it because it's a little different from what we're used to with Def Leppard. Like I said, it has more of a pop, kind of like hip hop kind of vibe to it.
Right.
But I love it now. I'm gonna give it a 9, just because it doesn't beat Goodbye.
Right. Um, since I completely missed it, I'm gonna go with an 8.5. I'm just being generous here.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't know why I completely missed over it. I don't know why that happened, but I was like, okay, well, we're here now. So,
All
alright.
right, track number 6, a
Hey,
fan favorite, and probably one of my favorite songs of all time from Def Leppard. Definitely in my top 5. We're going with Paper Sun. Now, I remember telling you about this song. I remember hyping it up to you. I'm like, hey, when we get to track number 6, really listen to it because it is really good. And I
Mhm.
remember you said you really, really enjoyed it.
Yes, I did. I did really, really did like it.
Unfortunately, Def Leppard only played this song live so many times until I think there was like something happened, like some sort of history happened in the world. About a year or two after they released that song, they stopped playing it live for that reason. I don't know what you found. What did you find anything about that?
So, was it the bombing in Northern Ireland?
Uh huh. Yes.
Okay. Because so when I looked at song meanings, like, because there was 8 comments on that song, I was like, okay, well, that's okay, that's better than what I was getting. There was like the bombing in Northern Ireland in '98, uh, and then there was like some other comments that was like completely like different from what I was seeing. I was like, okay, well, that's not true. So, but like when I looked more and more, I was like, okay, so it's the bombing in Northern Ireland. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay. I was like, I'm just going off the facts here. But that was like, I didn't really dive into the bombing that much. I just didn't want to like bore the
Right.
people with history and all that
They
shit.
can go and look that up
Do it,
themselves if they're
yeah. They
really
can,
interested.
yeah,
But because that happened, they had to stop playing this song live. They just felt it wasn't right to do that.
yeah. It would be kind of like
Because the
not,
lyrics kind of hint at it, hint
yeah,
about it.
right.
Um,
It'd be kind of like a shock to the system for them.
yeah, it just wouldn't be right as a fan to hear that live after, having
Right.
something happen in my home country for that matter.
Like, hey, hey. um, I mean, 10 out of 10, obviously.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, there's no question about that in my mind.
Okay.
Okay, we're almost approaching the halfway point. We're at 22 minutes. So we're doing okay. So track number 7 with "It's Only Love." Now, unfortunately, there's like I think maybe 2 or 3 tracks on this album that are kind of a weaker point. This is a very mellow track, like
Mm,
acoustic mellow track. I didn't like it my first time through. I'm gonna be honest, but after a couple listens, it's not bad. It is tolerable. It's just not a super high note. So we're kind of going down a little bit if we're thinking about in terms of highs and lows. We're kind of going down a little bit, taking a little break. This is kind of like I said, a relaxing song. It's very acoustic. Um, pretty much
right.
self-explanatory song though, if you really think about it. But did you find anything?
It's like basically a typical "I love you, but you don't love me" song. That's what I put.
Pretty
uh,
self-explanatory.
that's very self-explanatory there. Since it's kind of like a weak link, kind of, if you think about it, I gave it a 7.5 and be very generous here.
I gave it an 8.5 because I did it like this. I took the 3 songs that I thought were the weakest and figured out which one I preferred over the other two. And this is the one I do prefer over the other two.
I'm just being generous here.
Track
Okay.
number 8, one of my favorites from this album as well. 21st Century Sha La 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 Girl. I had to try and pronounce that without fucking it up.
21st Century Shalala Girl.
I love that song. It's so freaking like creative and groovy. Like who the fuck is gonna name a song that like that? I mean, well, Def Leppard did, but um,
Either them or Fall Out Boy.
21st century girl, sha la 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 girl. My God, it's so freaking good. It's so catchy.
I mean, yeah.
Did you find anything for that one?
So, do you think it could have been like a reference to the T Rex's 20th Century Boy and Cosmic Dancer by any chance?
I
Because
I don't know because like maybe yes and no. It's just like I'm trying to think because they ended up covering 20th
Century
Century Boy
Boy,
in the Yeah cover album they did.
yeah. But I think like, well, because like I saw a comment on this one and it says like it could be a reference to 20th Century Boy and Cosmic Dancer because I think maybe a lyric in Cosmic Dancer has "Shalala Girl," maybe.
maybe like it could be like a playoff on like 20th Century Boy, and they meet 21st Century Sha-La-La-La Girl. Like maybe that's what they were going for, because I know that Def Leppard, they're like heavily influenced by like T-Rex and Mott the Hoopla and David Bowie and all them. It's like I know they're heavily influenced by them, especially Joe. Joe's like an obsessed Mott the Hoopla fan. So maybe that's actually a good theory to think about. Did you find anything else?
Nope.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine. Sometimes we have to do what we got to do on this show.
Yep.
I gave it 10 out of 10. It's so fucking good.
Since I don't hear a lot, I'm gonna give it a 9.
Okay.
A 9?
Hey, and that's good, you know.
Yeah.
All right, track number 9, another weakling on this album titled "To Be Alive." This one's also very mellow. It kind of gives me like Boys to Men vibes.
Oh boy.
Like, you know that group that sings "I Swear," like that '90s boy group.
I swear.
Swear by the moon and the stars. This is what it reminds me of. It reminds me of the '90s like boy groups, like the boy bands, like not like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, yeah. But I'm thinking of like the old school '90s, like that group I was just telling you about.
Yeah, Boys to Men, like Run DMC sort of.
Kinda. It's what it kind of reminds me of. There's kind of like the smooth boy band pop. That's kind of what the song gives me. I'm not super crazy for it, but if I'm in if I'm in the right mood, I'll listen to it. It's just not my go-to.
Fair. Okay, so my, I guess, explanation for it is you realize there's nothing better than to be with someone you love. Ideal to have your loved one and be quiet and relaxed, like to be alive. If you think about it.
Yeah, like that sounds about right.
In the lyrical context sense, I mean,
it sounds about right. Like I'm thinking about the lyrics in my head. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
So unfortunately for me, I gave it a 7.
I gave it 8.5. I like
Wow. I don't know what it is. It's just like it's not my favorite. It's a little too slow for my liking. But like I said, if I'm in the right mood for it, I will listen to it. It's just I'm not always in that mood.
Yeah, I like that one that you're like skip. Ooh, Blink. Ooh, Bryan Adams. skip.
Oh, Shinedown. Anyways.
Ooh, Shinedown.
Continuing on track number 10. This is Def Leppard's second ever instrumental song called Disintegrate. Now, Def Leppard only has 2 instrumental songs that I know of. This one and Switch 625 from the High and Dry album. That is a huge time elapse from their first instrumental. Because High and Dry came out in 1981. This album came out in 1999. That is a huge time elapse. So you're talking
18 years.
About 18 years, yeah. You're talking, we're going from 1981, where Steve Clark was in the group with Pete Willis, all the way to now. Pete Willis is out of the band, and Steve Clark passed away. God bless his soul. So now we have Phil Collin and Vivian Campbell on guitars doing this instrumental. It's kind of a good debate hour, to be honest. That's a good debate hour idea. A battle between the 2 eras of the instrumental songs.
So, like, from debut to this one?
You mean sophomore album to this one?
Sophomore album, whatever.
Second album. It's because On Through the Night was debut.
Second grade.
We should do that, though. I'm not gonna lie, that's actually a good idea because it's 2 different guitarists. Well, actually 4 different guitarists, 2 on each song. 2 different time periods for Def Leppard. I think it's a good idea. We need to do that. So stay tuned for that. Write that down. Anyways, Disintegrate, I really don't expect you to find a meaning for this one.
Oh no, I didn't find one
Yeah,
a bit.
it's instrumental. There's nothing really to talk about. Let the music do the talking for you.
Yeah.
I gave it a 9 out of 10. I actually really like this. It's kind of like a nice little interlude if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a nice little break.
Right. I gave it an 8.5.
And that's respectable, honestly. That is respectable.
Trying to write down disintegrate here.
You're good. I'm gonna keep going. So, track number 11. Yet another one I wasn't too keen about. Guilty. Um, it's not super mellow. It's just like I don't know. I
It's like one of those songs that kind of like it's like you're trying to like okay like trying to test the waters with it sort of thing for me I think, but this one's kind of like one of those like
sleepers.
sleeper, yeah, like it's it's like it's like it's only love to be alive and guilty. It's like one of those like it's the three songs that you were talking about I think, aren't you?
Yep, it is.
So it's like whereas like it's only love I kind of rate it low, to be alive I kind of ranked it high. This one I put like in the middle of that threshold.
That's kind of what I did, except flip around. It's only love and to be alive. It's only love I ranked a little higher. To be alive is really low, and then guilty
Is like
I kind of
middle.
middle of the road. Yeah. Did you find a meaning for that one?
So it's about asking the age-old question: if this is wrong, then why does it feel good, and why does it feel right? The yo question.
Why do I relate?
Why relate?
What the fuck?
I think we could all relate to
We
this.
can all relate to this in many ways, more than one. Okay.
I
I
give
might
it
have to
an
go
8.
back and yeah, I'm giving it an 8 too. I might have to go back and listen to that one. God damn.
The ye old ancient question.
God damn it, Def Leppard. What are we doing?
Blame Joe for that one.
Thanks. Anyways,
Thanks.
moving on to track number 12. This is actually another one I grew up with, titled Day After Day. So, on the Rock of Ages Definitive Collection 2-disc set that I have, which was like, I think that was actually my first Def Leppard CD collection I have that I bought. Well, I didn't buy it. I got it for Christmas or Easter one year. That track is on one of the discs, surprisingly. It's one of the singles from this album. It's actually really good. It's really like mysterious. Like the start of it is very mysterious and kind of eerie, we'll call it. I really enjoy it. Every time I hear it, I think about my childhood. I think about the ride to the concert when I was 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
It's that and Paper Sun. Like I listened to those songs on the way to the concert. I remember hearing them in the car on the CD player. It's a really good song though. What'd you find? Did you find anything?
So yes, I did. It expresses the struggle to break free from the constraints of one's past, the repetitive nature of certain behaviors or beliefs, and the ever-present reminders that one must confront in order to achieve personal growth and change. Why does that sound familiar?
Actually, yeah, it's kind of like confronting your past self or your past demons in order to
Mm,
move on and continue to grow and flourish as a human being. That's actually really good. Damn. This makes that song like 10 times better. Like, god damn, the song's already good. It's like sometimes when I hear the meanings, it's like, ooh, that makes the song even better. It's like a little icing on the cake. It's kind of cool.
yeah.
That's kind of why I like doing these episodes, because I find out a lot of things about these songs that I grew up to love that I never knew about, like ever.
That's why I write down the notes.
Yes, you're my note taker, and I appreciate it. Even though sometimes I do pitch in too. It's just lately I've been like slacking. I've been kind of busy.
You slacker.
I gave it a 10 out of 10. It's a good song.
I give it a 9.5.
Good. That's good, honestly.
All right.
Closing track. Track number 13 with Kings of Oblivion. I really, really digged this song when we heard it the first time. I really like the intro. It's like, ooh, like this kind of really ties up the whole sound of Euphoria as a whole, from start to finish. Like when you hear that opening, it's like, yeah, this is like definitely going to tie this album together, nice and pretty. Um, I really enjoyed this song. Probably one of my more favorable closers for an album. This album had a really good opener and a very good closer. I'm not disappointed at all. There's nothing to complain about here. I kind of like another thing I really liked about this song was at the end it kind of fades out. It gives you a classic like 80s album vibe where it slowly fades out into the end. I really like when bands do that. They make their songs fade out in the end. It's just like so nostalgic. Reminds me
Kind
of
of
the good
leaves
old
you,
days.
wanting more, sort of thing.
It's like don't let the album end.
Is that really it? It's funny if they just ended on that. It's like freaking Jogo is like, is that really it? Like, come on now.
Did you find a meaning for this song?
Yes. So, okay, just gonna tie this up with a nice little bow. It appears to be about the struggle to find one's path, reconciliating conflicting desires within relationships, and the needs of self discovery and personal growth in the face of inevitable change. So it's kind of like day after day is like expressing the struggles for it, but then Kings of Oblivion is to be about the struggle to find one's path. So it's kind of like a interlude to the next
So they
song.
kind of play off each other a little bit.
Yeah, that's
That's
why I
actually
was.
really cool.
Yeah, I didn't think about that for like a long time. After I was like doing the notes for it, I was like, okay, well, they both have to deal with personal growth and change in their songs, and it's like with day after day and all that stuff, and then Kings of Oblivion. It's like I think that's a good like two closing songs for this album.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
and plus, I'm gonna say it again. It's very euphoric for it because it's I think in a nutshell, it's like it's about personal growth more. Uh, because like like I mean, Paper Sun's like it's like one of the best songs of all time. But it's like it's about like the bombing in East Northern Ireland. I almost said Eastern Ireland, Northern Ireland, and then you have like goodbye, and then you have like promises and all that stuff. So it's like this is like one of the the it's like I'm trying to put it in terms that some people can understand.
Right.
Um, if you think about it, like I've said this in the wall for the wall breakdown, or I don't know if we've done it yet, but I think we
Not
have.
yet.
But if we are like when we watched the movie, it was like very like a roller coaster, and the opener with Demolition Man, it's like it's very upbeat and very like powerful, but then when you get to the end of it, it's like very kind of like trying to keep that same energy,
Yeah.
and I kind of thought it was coincidental, like it's both have to do with struggles, both have to do with growth, and trying to like change yourself for the better good in a way.
It kind of reflects what Def Leppard was going through during the slang era when they
Hmm.
lost Steve. They were all going through personal struggles,
Divorces and all that.
divorces,
Yeah.
arrests, stuff like that. So
Hmm.
it kind of reflects on what they're trying to do now, which is try to better themselves, self reflection, and all that stuff. So I
Hmm.
think it's a really good way to end it. I'm gonna give
Yeah.
it a 10 out of 10 right there for that
Oh
song.
yeah, I gave it 10 out of 10 as well. So.
Wow, that wraps up the breakdown of the tracks. Now we need to rank this album as a whole. I already did my
Alrighty.
calculations.
I already
I
did
feel like
mine
a
as well.
scientist over here. I'm like
I
wiggling my
did my
fingers.
calculations.
Calculations.
I am
um,
brilliant.
who's going first?
Okay, so I'll go first,
Okay.
just to get mine out of the way.
Yep.
I gave it a 97.2.
How the hell did you get a 97.2 out of that?
Math. I don't know.
Mine's like lower than yours, like way lower.
Okay, I'm gonna explain why as soon as you tell yours. I'll explain why.
I gave mine a 92.7.
Okay. It's not bad. That's like a B grade. So, for me, for my expertise, my experience with this the second time around, I enjoyed the songs more than the first time around, especially with Paper Sun and Goodbye and Kings of Oblivion and Day After Day. Because those four tracks alone, like Goodbye, Paper Sun, and Kings of Oblivion, they were all 10 out of 10s. But there was like some songs in there that like I was like, okay, I don't really care for, but then I'll listen to it again at a later date, and maybe I'll have like better appreciation for it. But like Paper Sun's like it was like one of the songs that kind of like bumped it up for me as a person, and then Kings of Oblivion as well. And plus, both the Euphoria version and the Jurassic Symphonies versions,
Of Paper
um,
Sun.
they were both really good, but I liked the Euphoria version more.
For Paper Sun. Mm.
Yeah, of Paper Sun.
I love the Euphoria version of Paper Sun. I prefer it over Jurassic Symphonies, but the Jurassic Symphonies one adds a little more dramatic effect because you've got the excuse
Violin.
me, yeah, you got the
Yeah.
orchestra behind you.
Yeah.
So overall, this album's really good. I am gonna be brutally honest. It's probably one of their best albums to date. It's up there with Adrenalize for me. Adrenalize is the only album I've actually given 100 on ever. It's just I'm
This
super
is
biased over that album. I
no,
love it to death. This album comes pretty close for me in my terms of ranking the albums. This one comes really close. It just gives me a really good feel good vibe. It kind of gives me the feel vibe of like the 1990s, the late 1990s. And you know what's crazy? 1999 produced like three of my favorite albums of all time. And we've talked about two of them on this show. We've talked about this and we've talked about There's Nothing Left to Lose. We have yet to talk about Animal of the State, but we will be doing that very soon. So, yeah. But anyways, I loved Euphoria. Like I said, there was only maybe 3 tracks that were kind of the weaklings here. Overall, almost every track slapped from start to finish. Good opener, good closer. Really good hit singles off of this album. Like you said, Paper Sun being one of the big ones here, as well as Promises and Goodbye. And then you get your experimental tracks with like All Night, Kings of Oblivion, Day After Day, even 21st Century Sha-La-La-La Girl. Like, that's super, super experimental. Overall, hats off to Def Leppard for making one of the best comebacks of all time. Amen. Church over.
Church over.
I hope
Everybody go home.
I hope we converted y'all to Def Leppardism.
Oh Lord.
Listen, I have been in the Def Leppardism religion since I came out of the fucking womb.
Yeah, because you were born around it.
I was, and I'm proud to say that. There's not many young female girls like me who can say that.
Right.
Yes, I am right. Always.
Oh, right. Okay.
Always. Okay. Getting off track here. So that concludes our breakdown of Euphoria. We hope you enjoyed. If you have listened to this album, what is your favorite track? Let us know in the comments or on social media. I would love to hear from you guys. So, speaking of blank, God damn it.
So, speaking
of blank, this Sunday we are actually doing a triple threat debate hour. We are putting the 3 vocalists of Blink. And yes, I said 3 because if you remember correctly, Tom left twice. And during the second time he left, Mark brought in
Matt Skiba.
Matt Skiba from Alkaline Trio to do 2 albums with him. So we are putting Matt Skiba, Tom DeLonge, and Mark Hoppus up against each other in a battle of the best vocalists for Blink. This is going to be a great episode. I am so glad I thought of this. And I'm so glad we're doing it sooner than I thought we were going to do it. I am very excited for this because I love Blink to death. I love all eras of Blink. I love the pre-Travis days. I love the Travis days where it's like, you know, Mark, Tom, and Travis. And I also like the Matt Skiba era as well, except for 9. I wasn't crazy about that album, but I love all 3 eras of Blink. There's no question about it. So this is going to be very interesting. Especially if you're a Blink fan, if you've stuck through it all from the very start. It's going to be very interesting. What do you think? You excited for this one?
It's going to be tough. I know that.
It is going to be tough because all 3 of them have their own qualities that make their sound. You know what I mean? Like, they all sound very different, but they all clash together very well. So, that'll be this Sunday. You will not want to miss it. I can guarantee you that. Dystro, you, my friend, have tonight's song of the night. What do you have for us?
I'm going to go with, well, from Euphoria, obviously, since we're on the topic. I'm going to go with Goodbye, I think.
Ooh, okay. I'll take that one. So, like I said, there is a music video for this. We have watched it in the past. Mm-hmm. So, Goodbye by Def Leppard. That is tonight's song of the night. We're not saying goodbye to the show, don't worry. The show will never die as long as I shall live. So, if you guys want to take a listen to that, I'm going to put a link at the top right-hand corner of this episode. At the very end, it'll pop up. Go ahead and take a listen and watch the music video if you'd like. So, if you guys stuck around to the very end, we greatly appreciate your support. Go on ahead and follow us on social media by clicking on that link in the description below, which will take you to Linktree. We have Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, and Twitter. Go on ahead, follow us there to keep up to date with the show in case something goes wrong, we can't upload, or if one of us has to miss. Dystro's gaming YouTube channel is also there. We're trying to get you up to 1,300 subscribers by the end of this month. What are you at this moment?
I'm at 1,286.
Wow, you're actually getting closer and closer.
14 away.
Oh my goodness. So, if you guys are not familiar with his YouTube channel, I suggest you go check it out and go share his stuff around. I'm in there too sometimes because we do play video games outside of the show. So, go check him out. Go subscribe to him. Go share his content. Once again, take a listen to tonight's song of the night, Goodbye by Def Leppard. And that's it. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you guys this Sunday. Peace!
Peace!